On this video, I'm going to be replacing some 5-inch veneer stone, real stone. Before they start doing the fake stick-on stone, they do real veneer stone. And they would lay their block and they'd put the 5 or 4 or 6 or 7-inch veneer away from it and tie it in with wall ties. Before that, they used to build it like a castle. And I'm going to explain that all at the end. But I had to do this because the plumber put some pipes through here, through the wall, and I had to fill it back in. So I'm going to show you how I did it. Today, this is stone veneer, but this is like 4 to 5 to 6 inches veneer. And what's going to happen is I'm going to put this back. We had to rip this stone out to get these pipes through. It was just as easy to rip it out as it was to be boring through it. That's on a different video, but I'm going to show you how we did this. Now what I'm going to do first is just stuff these holes with regular insulation, fiberglass insulation, because I don't want that cement sticking to any of this. I want to be able to get these pipes out, or the next plumber that comes and fixes it, he won't be cursing me. And then I got this stuff. This is seal. You put this on your house when you're going between the foundation and the wood. I'm going to put a wrap around like this. I'm going to put that around here like that, because if they ever have to take these pipes out for any reason, that plumber won't be cursing me. You see that? Just do this to make sure that that concrete ain't touching that pipe. Here's going to be my mix. I'm going to use 2 full buckets of regular mason sand. 1, 2. And then I'm going to use half of Portland. That's Portland cement. And half of what you call type S. Now all this is, when they make masonry cement with type S, is it's mortar with Portland added to it. And this doesn't have the sand added to it. This is straight mortar. There's a difference. So I'm making this 2 to 1. Now if you wanted to, you could use type S mortar mix, and this has the sand added. So we got it all mixed up a little bit. We're going to add our water to it. Start mixing. So I got it mixed up, and look, it's soft. I like it that way. Other masons like it real hard, but I like it kind of soft. It's easier for me as a mason to work with. Other guys think different. The first thing I have to do is establish my height. And wouldn't you know, the pipe was in the way, otherwise I'd put a string going through. So I'm just going to go from here to there. And that's going to be the height that I have to hit. That's my height, and just to make sure, I'm going to measure down 5 inches, 5 inches. So we're good there. So I'm going to put my stone into here, brush that off of there, and I know this is the old stone, so I'm going to use the same stone. But you see what you do? You want to cover your joints at least every 3rd one. So when I first was learning how to do this, we would use rubber gloves, just like that. So I want to show you that technique first, because sometimes I just use my trowel. So we got that in there. I'm going to place it right on top. I know I'm going right even. If I had to, I would drop a line, but it's so small, I'm not worried about it. I let it sink in there. I know the rest of these are all 5 inches out. I'm between 5, 5 1/4. So after I get that on, I just fill the back end. Just like that. No big deal. Like I always say, you just fill the back end. That's my first stone. Just this kind of style is about, they stopped doing this late 80s, and then they start making out fake stone. So my next stone is going to be this stone. You see it? There's the line I got to hit. So the same thing. Put this on top, just like that. Stiff. You take the stone, put it right on top, just like that. That's my height. I'm gonna measure out 5.5 inches. I want to go in a little bit. That's where it's going to stay. Then I'm going to back my stone up here with some cement. That's the old school way of doing things when you did stone veneer. So I got that all established now. And this is traditional cement, so we're going to kind of let it dry. Well, I'm over here next door where I keep a stone pile of stone, and you can see I haven't even touched it in years. So I'm going to pick some of this up and bring it back over to use in there. Now here's a bunch of stones that I picked, and I usually faced them. If I'm going to face anything, see, it kind of faces the edge. It takes all the rough edges away. It gives it a nicer look. But I'm not going to come over here and pick a stone that I'm not going to use. So I go through all my stones. I basically do a little face job. See that? Brings the colors out. Face it, you call it. I can even use the stone this way. Same thing with this one. Now I look at it. If it's not right, I flatten it out. See that? I flatten it out so when she lays on the next stone, it'll actually lay without the cement. That's the way I plan everything. Got to plan everything. I got my stones laid out here. I have something to pick from. First thing I want to do is put something right in there, like that. See it? I use my rubber glove just to get it where I want to. Pack it in there. I should have 2 rubber gloves. And then I know my next stone is going to go on top of that. See, I got a hole in here, and I'm going to explain that hole. That hole is for wall ties, as we call them. So I don't want to get really no higher than that with this stone. So then I'll try this one. Maybe this way, maybe that way. Same thing. Don't like that. That looks pretty good. So that's going to be my next stone. And then I'm going to fill in behind that. Easy. 1, 2, 3. See that? If they stay up there when the cement's wet, they'll stay up there when the cement's dry. And then maybe I'll put one here. See what we got. Maybe this way. Maybe that way. Let's see here. Something like that. Something like that. Just pack it in there. About like that. That's the way I want it. We're doing good already. I'm a little closer. I want you to see what's going on. I smashed a hole into the cinder block right there. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Putting that right in there like that. I'm going to show you why I'm doing that. The old days, they would take wall ties, they turn them up like this, and they drive a nail in there. Then they found out these things rot away after a while. Some guys still use them, but what I like to use, this stuff. It's called Duro wall. You see me on the block jobs do it. I cut a piece off, and bend it in there like that, and bend it in there like that. You see that? And then I know that's going to hold. But when I do a block job and it's on a big one, they don't do this much anymore. That's why they put that fake stone on. I get a real piece of stone, I go right in the block job like that. See it? Then I know that that's going to hold. I shove it in there like that. That's tied right into the wall. And if I want to put another couple pieces of this stuff in here and shove it in the sides, that's going to hold that wall together a lot better than just those wall ties. I got this little piece in here, and I'm going to continue on. I picked this piece out right there. See that? Goes right up to the line. I'm just going to dress it up a little bit like that. Put my cement down like that, right up against the other stuff, and put it right in there. See that? That could be a little bit bigger. Like that. And if you don't want to stay there because the cement's too wet, put a little shim in there, that'll hold it. Then you just fill the back in, that's all. Like I said, if it stays there when it's wet, the cement, it'll stay there when it's dry. See that? I'm getting there. And I could put a little piece in there or something, I don't know. Maybe this. That looks good. I'll go with that. Now I'm ready for this top stone. I'll go over here and I'll fill this in like this. See, that threw me off a little bit, but I'll figure a way around it. Maybe I'll do that. I don't like that because I got a little piece there. How about this way? I could do something like that. It's a little bit different. Knock the back off here. Face it a little better. We'll put that piece in. Just like that. See, now I can go from here to the top. I got that all figured out. If you flatten these pieces like laying brick, you can go pretty high all day long. 5 1/4, that's good. Pack it in there with your fingers. It don't hurt using your hand. You think the Egyptians had trowels like this, steel trowels? Nope. Now we gotta find a piece for here. And when you're putting stones in, you keep turning it all different ways to see which way is gonna work the best. I think that works pretty good right there. Dress it up a little bit like I said. Give it that rougher look. That, put it in there. We're just copying what the other people did. I don't like that joint there, so you know what, knock that off a little bit. Make it look like the rest of the job. Like I said, I don't have a line here, so I'm checking it like that. And that's it. Pack it up there. Put it in there with your rubber gloves. Just like that. I did the bottom a couple hours ago. The only thing I'm using is a little paintbrush. No big deal. Just go over the paintbrush like that. Look at. Take some new stuff if you have to and shove it in there with your finger. Like that. You know, there are a lot of different ways to do joints. Around these parts is the standard way to do it. That's it, just do it like that. Get the big stuff off. Go around. That's all you gotta do. See that? Make it match like the other stuff. Then get yourself a bucket of water and you wring your sponge out. Just go over the edges. That's it. Make sure your sponge is real clean. Gonna clean that all up. See that? And I'll show you a trick later if it comes out too bright. See that? Just get the thing off. That's good. It looks like you weren't even here. You can even go over your joints a little if you want. That's it. It's all cleaned up. Sponged it. We're good. Now yesterday I got this done. I kind of laid that in there. So what I got to do is lay these stones across again. And my nephew's going to help me. Like I always said, if you want something to stick, you got to wet it. So then I'm going to put a little water in that cement. I'm going to make a slushy out of it. See that? Just a slushy. I'm going to paint a big slurry on this side. That'll make that stick. And over here on the other side where we did the stone work, well, this side we really don't have to wet anything. I'm just going to put the cement in like this, just like if we're continuing on. I'm going to put that stone in. Same thing, wet it. You get your side in first. Get up on top. Gotta get under. When in doubt, shim it up. Good. Last but not least, I'll put that one in. Okay, I have my nephew helping me, but he seems to have a problem. Say that again. You want to go to the prom?
I want to go to the prom, but I don't have a car to drive there.
You don't have a car to drive. Why? Your dad won't give you one?
Nope.
Your sister won't give you one?
She won't give me it.
And you want me to give you something to drive to the prom?
Yes, please.
I only have one vehicle you could use. Is that all right?
I'll take it. Thanks, Uncle Michael.
Have a good time at the prom. In the same thing, just get your finger right here. Paintbrush. Boom, bang. Don't make no big deal out of it. That's a shim. So you gotta shove a shim in there once in a while so she don't move. Then when she sets up, you can take the shim out. See that? That's it. So one little last trick to show you. Now suppose that these joints came out a lot wider than the rest of it, which it didn't. But if it does, all you do is you get a little dirt, a little mud, add some water to it, just like that. You stir it up into a mud and you paint your joints. And what that'll do is it'll dirty the joints and it'll sink into the cement and it'll make it look old. It's an old Michelangelo trick. So another trick, and now I'll start my comment. I'm going to talk about that job a little bit, the mud trick. I was just watching a special, Michelangelo. The guy had this statue he wanted to sell, and he wanted him to make it look old. And what did Michelangelo do? He got all kind of sandpaper and mud, and he put it all over the statue. It looked like it was 500 years old, and then they sold it as being old. So the mud trick has been around forever. Even when he was painting the Sistine Chapel, he'd paint right into the wet plaster, the paint and go into the plaster. Mud trick has been all around forever. Stonework. At one time, all stone was laid flat like this. And I have a video out called Early American Stonework, and I'll put the description in the box for that. But it was all built like this. Everything was flat, one on top of another, because they used a lime mortar. Then when they came out with Portland cement, it's really strong. They start going up and down, and then they start using wall ties. And I like to use this wire and get it inside the block. I'm going to show you what that was like. Now, to make this a simple demonstration, back in the 1940s and 1950s, they started making 3-hole block like this. Then back in the, say, the 1980s, they start making 2-hole block. But when they were building foundations in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, they would lay their block like this. Then they would get the other block like this, and this would be your stone or your brick ledge. And you would put your stone on like this. That's what I was doing up there. And then your wall ties. So that's the way they were doing it up until they start sticking the fake stone on. So I did that a little example. And then they start coming out and they say, well, now they start making fake stone. But the truth is, they've been doing real stone forever. And I still, every time I see a piece of stone laying around, I pick it up and I use it. The reason they did that was because all these wall ties and everything they found out were rotting away. So now they put the wire mesh again, they nail it, and they stick the stone to it. But they're not going to tell you that sooner or later the wire mesh is going to rot away. But that's the way they're doing things nowadays. But Portland made a difference in all kind of building. When I'm doing sticking stone back on, say a piece gets loose, I make a slurry, like a milkshake. And you don't even have to put sand in it, but you can make it thick. And I didn't show you it thick enough, but you put it on thick, you lay the stone in and you sponge it off. Now if it's too high, instead of chipping it, just get a little grinding wheel like that. If I have an affiliate site, you'll see it. You grind it down maybe 1/8 of an inch, and then you use a slurry. It sticks and you're done with that. So I hope you get something out of these videos. Everyone's a little bit different. A little bit trick here, a little bit trick there. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.